Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm Juliet Ehimuan, Director of West Africa at Google. We've seen external possibilities that excite us, give us hope, inspire us. How do we unlock these possibilities internally in our personal lives? How do we take up the challenge to be the best versions of ourselves? This is certainly something that I'm passionate about and have worked on for several years. And that's because the ability to lead oneself effectively and satisfactorily, I would say, is arguably one of the most important things. As I look at my own experiences and study the lives and experiences of others that inspire me, there are a few lessons I've found relevant in understanding how to help make the impossible possible, how to birth and nurture that dream to reality. In the remainder of this discussion, I'd like to share just a few of these concepts, which I call three C's: creation, courage, and choice. I'll start with creation. Life is a constant process of creation. Every new day, every new month, every experience, every crisis is an opportunity to grow and possibly to recalibrate your life. Our life and our time is precious. We're only here for a brief period of time in the grand scheme of things, and it is one life. As time passes, so does life. And whether we realize it or not, we are constantly creating our realities. We're influencing how our lives emerge, how we think, the decisions we make, how we spend our time, who we choose to interact with. These all shape the experience, the results that we get, and our experience of life. You're either creating your reality consciously or unconsciously. And when I talk about creation as a tool in this context, I'm talking about being deliberate and intentional about what you want. It's important that we're not in autopilot mode, just going through the motion, getting stuck in being busy, swamped in endless activities, only to wake up one day and you ask yourself, where did the time go? And so it's crucial to stop periodically and reflect on our journey, to take stock and think, what direction am I heading? What is my purpose? What is the vision for my life? Everything we see manifest physically is usually the end product of a mental picture and a plan. Take a skyscraper, for example. You see the outcome. But before that structure was built, the architect had a clear image in mind. Every detail you see physically, the pillars, the walls, the windows, ceiling, was actually at one time in the mind and then captured in a plan on paper or a computer, and that got translated into physical reality. In the same way, to live the life you want, you need to define it. Only then can you create it the way you want. Life is not a series of random events. It doesn't happen by accident. A key to unlocking possibilities and achieving our goals is to be deliberate in going after what we desire. It doesn't matter where you are. You may be at the start of your career, well into your journey, or in a leadership position. Wherever you are in your journey, it is helpful to create a clear picture of where you want to go and why. That clear picture speaks to your vision in any area of life: work, career, family, finances, and other domains. And your unique why speaks to purpose. First and foremost, as human beings, We all share a common purpose, which is to strive to become the best versions of ourselves. Your greatest gift to the world is to be your greatest self, to be fully alive, and to share with the world those gifts that you're best equipped to offer. To achieve this requires identifying what our purpose is. And there are three questions that I have found useful in helping to just really clarify purpose. The first is passion. What are those things that you're passionate about? Two, what are the needs or challenges that you're drawn to address? And the third is around strengths, identifying what your strengths are. Your purpose often lies in the intersection of your passion, the needs that you're trying to address, and the strengths that you have. I encourage you to ask yourself those questions. And as you ponder them, you may be fortunate to tick all boxes, and that's awesome. For some people, though, all three may not necessarily exist at once. As I look back on my journey, I am struck by how helpful it has been to have had some reasonable level of clarity on my why early on in my career. Of course, I didn't necessarily define it as purpose back then, but there were some certain things that were clear to me that drove me. I knew early on that I was passionate about making a difference, finding new and empowering ways to get things done, whether that's through technology or insights that expand the mind. And that helped shape the things I pursued and the things I tried to learn. My educational efforts were also focused on building my capacity and competencies in that space. It helped inform my decision to go into the technology space, both as a field of study and as a career. And at different points in my career, when I had to make pivotal decisions, like foregoing the assurance of a salary to go back to school or to make career changes, those difficult decisions were made somewhat easier by having my sense of purpose as the North Star. That helped me put those choices in proper perspectives and contexts. It has also helped to shape some of the activities I have taken on, both within and outside Google, particularly around self-leadership and empowerment. Of course, it's always easier to connect the dots looking backwards. But being clear about your purpose is a great way to achieve clarity and focus and create the dots looking forward. It forces you to ask yourself the question, why do you want that title? Why do you want that job, that role, that team? Helping you to achieve some perspective on what things are critical to your journey and deserving of your attention and energy. And during those periods when the job might seem tedious and unexciting, which would most likely happen at some point in time, when you're faced with the drudgery of the day to day, reminding yourself of what your purpose is, your why, can be a useful way to help keep things in perspective and to re energize yourself by focusing on the journey and not the current location. The second C that I find very profound is courage. My late and very dear mother used to say, "It is not the life that matters, but the courage you put into it." That was her way of saying, it's not really about the things that happen to you, but it's about standing up and facing life and those things with courage. My mom was orphaned at a very young age and grew up with very limited means. She had 7 children, and worked tirelessly to give us a bright future. In the face of challenges and frustration, I saw her face the world with courage and determination. Her driving force was to provide for her children the opportunities that she never had. There were times, even as a child, I wondered how she kept going, where she got her strength from. And on this International Women's Month, I remember and honor her and all the amazing women in various societies who face life with remarkable courage on a daily basis. Life is a lesson in courage. To go after your vision and to live life with purpose requires courage. For some people, each day requires dealing with feelings of being overwhelmed. Life may overwhelm you with all its challenges. Your responsibilities in the family may overwhelm you. Your job may overwhelm you. Your boss may overwhelm you. Your health may overwhelm you. Just waking up and having to face the day may overwhelm you. We all have to deal with versions of this from time to time. We still have to wake up and put on a cloak of courage. Fear is natural. Everyone experiences fear at some point in time. We must soldier on, feel the fear, and keep moving. To go after your dreams, there are times you need to speak up and take risks. You will find that you can't afford to play safe, at least not all the time. To make progress, there are times you need to stretch out of your comfort zone, to just take that step, to embrace new challenges, to embrace change. And I've had a number of experiences around this. One of the pivotal experiences in my journey, and this was really very early on in my career. My first job right out of school was in the oil and gas space, and it was a great job. At the time, it was one of the jobs considered to be the best, basically an ideal job. And I got the opportunity for graduate studies in in an international university and scholarship. Now, I knew I wanted to develop myself further, but there was no guarantee about what would happen at the end of that course, whether there will be a job waiting for me, especially considering the fact that in the organization I was at the time, there was no study leave program. So I would have had to resign to go for graduate studies. And that was a risk. But I was very clear that I wanted to push myself further. And so I did two things, which would have been considered crazy back then. The first was I did tell the organization that I wanted to leave to pursue this opportunity to develop myself further. And secondly, I thought, well, why is there no study leave program anyway? And even though I was junior in the organization, I was entry level and barely a year in, I took up the cause, went up the management chain, and made a case for a study leave program to be initiated. My colleagues thought I was bonkers. They didn't think it would go anywhere. It turned out it did go somewhere, and actually a study leave policy got established, and I benefited from it, and many people have benefited from it since then. And it taught me a valuable lesson. We are our own best advocates. And there are times you need to make bold requests. And if we don't make the move, scary as it might seem, if we don't take the step, we would never know how things would work out. You get to decide whether you're going to be visible or invisible, whether your dreams matter, and whether you deserve a shot at fulfilling them. You get to decide whether you deserve a seat at the table. And it takes courage. And once you've done your part, that's all you can do. It's not always about the outcome, which may not be entirely in your control. It's about showing up for yourself, for what you believe in. Which brings me to the third C, choice. We make choices all the time. Your life right now is the sum total of all the choices that you've made. My life is a sum total of all the choices that I've made. You can't always control what happens in your external environment, but there is one thing you can control, and that is how you respond. You have the power to choose how to respond to situations. Some things may not go the way you planned. You may have even done your homework and checked the weather forecast, but it might still rain on your picnic. You can't control the rain, just as we can't control many things in life. What determines how far we go are not the obstacles that are in our way, but how we react to them. Again, going back to my mother's quote, it's not the life that matters, but the courage you put in it. How you choose to respond. And our attitude shapes the choices that we make when faced with situations. What you choose to focus on, deciding whether the glass is half full or half empty, that is a function of your attitude. Both are true. It's half full and it's half empty. But what perspective is more empowering for you? What perspective serves you best? Are you choosing to view your current circumstances through an empowering or disempowering lens? To drive the point home, I'd like to share a story. It's one of my favorite stories, and I think different versions of this exist in different cultures. There were two bricklayers at work laying bricks. The first bricklayer looked really bored as he laid one brick on top of the other. The second bricklayer was doing exactly the same job, but he looked very energized. He was just really full of enthusiasm and energy. The first bricklayer was asked, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, I'm laying bricks." The second bricklayer, the more energized one, was asked, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, I'm building the biggest cathedral in the city." Do you see the difference? That speaks to attitude. The first bricklayer could not find a higher purpose to what he was doing. And so he was just focused on one task after the other. And to his mind, there was nothing particularly exciting or energizing about that. But the second bricklayer had a different attitude. He could see the bigger picture. He could see the higher purpose. He saw that he was part of something big. A small part, maybe, but an important part nonetheless. Now, if there's the opportunity for a higher job, who do you think would be more prepared? Most likely the second bricklayer, because he is the one that is likely to take more of an interest in learning about the different aspects of the cathedral design and seeing how everything came together, right? So he would be a lot more informed, and based on his attitude, he's likely to show more capability for a higher job. Sometimes I speak to people who, reflecting on their careers, may say, where I am now is not where I want to be. It doesn't even have to be career, just in different parts of life. Where I am now is not where I want to be. And in some cases, and you may find yourself in this as well, as a result of that, you may just find that you're going through the motions. I'm just coasting. I'm just, whiling away time until I get that ideal. I'm not particularly energized or motivated by this. Well, the reality is where you are now is what you have. Wherever you want to go, you can only start from where you are now. And where you are now offers you something. It offers you the opportunity to learn, to grow, to build your networks, to show what you are made of. And you never know who's watching or what's around the corner. So that when an opportunity shows up that is more in line of where you desire to be, you will be prepared for it. The last thing you want to do is waste the current opportunity and not maximize it to grow and develop yourself. And we've probably seen this play out where some people just seem to have opportunities fall on their laps. If you look more deeply, you may find that they've put out signals to show that they are ready to take on that opportunity, that they are capable. One of the major events that has positively impacted my journey so far was actually driven by a challenging entrepreneurial experience that I had. When the event occurred, it was devastating. I had a major disappointment, but it also made me determined to develop my competencies in business. And it fueled my decision to go to business school. I wrote about the experience as my application essay to the London Business School, which ended up not only helping me get admitted, but also won me a Global Women's Scholarship. Every situation either blesses you, teaches you, or crushes you. You decide. With the right attitude, we can turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones. And as I think about attitude, one important attitude I have to stress is an attitude of gratitude. Having an attitude of gratitude helps you to tackle things from an empowered perspective. It's easy sometimes to focus on what's not working in our lives. If you look around you, what can you be grateful for? As you ponder this statement, you will find that there are truly many things that are going well that you can be grateful for, and that helps to shift your energy positively. And if there's anything you want to change, it helps you to tackle that from an empowered perspective, which has a richer quality to it. As the next great stories about making the impossible possible get written, I am certain that many of you will have your own chapters in that book. My encouragement to you is aligned with the three things I talked about. One, be conscientious about crafting a vision of what you desire to create and energize your path with purpose, with your why. Two, march down your path with courage. Do not be stopped by fear. Amazing possibilities begin with you believing in yourself and taking ownership. Three, choose how to respond to situations with an empowering attitude that enables you to turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones. I wish you the very best and thank you for staying with me.